I'm recording this on Sunday, December 6th, and it's a sad day for American boxing fans because today is the day that we officially mourn the death of Roy Jones Jr. Not literally, but figuratively, in the sense that his boxing career is dead. Monday night, he suffered a brutal first-round KO loss at the hands of Danny Green, a 36-year-old light heavyweight from Australia with a 28-3 record. Someone that Roy Jones would have just absolutely mopped the floor with in his heyday. But his heyday is past, and it's only fitting when you're having a memorial service for a fallen comrade that somebody say a few words. So I want to take you back to this article, Talent for the Grain, an article that I wrote on Roy Jones years ago when he was still at the top of the sport, and just kind of remind you of how he held it down. It begins by saying, Roy has held it down for 13 years and counting. He sits on a throne that he shares with no one. He wears a crown that no other can touch. He is the king. That means he reigns supreme, and his iron fists have earned him the highest distinction in all of boxing. He is pound for pound the best professional boxer on planet Earth. He has watched the media hype pretenders to that distinction come and go. De La Hoya, Zab Judah, Trinidad, Pernell Whitaker, Mike Tyson, and most recently, Sugar Shane Mosley. With nothing left to prove in the game that brought him to prominence, Roy Jones has embraced his second love and become a contender in the game of rap. Does he have what it takes to win another championship? Is he hungry enough to take it from the bottom and elevate it to the top? Does he have love for the game, or is this just a hobby? Does he have talent for the game, or is this just the lavish indulgence of a rich king? With these questions in mind, we turned our sights to Pensacola, Florida, and reached out to one of the best that ever did it. So around the time of that article, Roy had just launched his record label, and he signed 10 artists, spent a lot of money on it, and like I said, he signed 10 artists. And I was wondering if maybe this, since he had this music thing to fall back on, then maybe that would be the one thing that would keep him from staying in the game too long. You know, like so many fighters do. It's a drama that's played out over and over again. And I even made reference to that in the article. Yeah, let me tell you, hit you with that part. It says, maybe the sad drama that has been replayed by aging champions going all the way back to the days of Jack Johnson will bypass Roy Jones Jr. If his love for the music is genuine, then maybe, just maybe, he will stand steadfast with his mic in his hand and refuse to give in to the temptation to return to the ring over and over again. Jack Johnson, against his better judgment, yielded to temptation and returned to the ring. The result, he was pummeled into oblivion by a bigger giant with lesser skills. The legendary Sugar Ray Robinson couldn't stay away. He had over 200 professional fights and 41 losses. All but 2 of those losses came after the age of 40. The result? He spent the final years of his life unable to recognize his closest friends. Many felt that Ali should have retired after dispatching George Foreman to regain the heavyweight championship, but he continued to fight. No one that loved him wanted him to fight after the Spinks rematch, but he fought on. The result? He was butchered by a former sparring partner named Larry Holmes. Incredibly, he fought again and was humiliated by unheralded Trevor Berbick. Today, some call him a vegetable. The new Sugar Ray couldn't stay away either. The golden boy of the '76 Montreal Olympics should have retired after his crowning conquest of Marvin Hagler, but he couldn't resist the call of the ring. His life outside boxing held little meaning for him. He was even seen effetely smoking cigarettes at a Vegas casino one night. The result? Give me a second. The result? I was there that night at Madison Square Garden when Terry Norris handed Leonard's head to him. Did he learn from that debacle? Of course not. He was later knocked down by an unknown and then had his manhood taken from him by the cowardly Hector Unmacho Camacho. Leonard was so humiliated by that defeat that he made excuses for the loss, claiming to have entered the ring with an injured calf muscle. Sad. Roy Jones Jr. has years left before he reaches that crossroad, but he will have to take it there eventually. For now, he's still on top of his game. Haters claim he never fought anybody. The truth is, he just makes them look like nobody. He's the most dominant light heavyweight in history. He's faster, stronger, and smarter than the opposition. Sure, we all want to see the Bernard Hopkins rematch, but we already know the inevitable outcome. Nevertheless, the day of reckoning will come. Roy will have to sit down at the crossroads for a meeting with destiny. On that day, we hope that he will choose the road less traveled, and that will make all the difference. We pray that he finds fulfillment in the music. Well, obviously he didn't find fulfillment in the music. He kept fighting and stayed in way past the time when he should have got out of the game. And with Roy, it's not really that Roy turned old, which brought him down. It was after winning the heavyweight championship, trying to drop back down to light heavyweight, losing 30 pounds in a six week period. Okay, that's unhealthy for you, and that was an unintelligent decision. But you have to understand the ego of a champion who's never tasted defeat in his professional career at that point, other than the one disqualification to Griffith, which he avenged with a first-round knockout. So you reach a point where you think you can do anything. So ego starts to override intellect, and you start thinking, hey, I'll do it. So he did it. Before he even entered the ring that night against Tarver, he rated himself a C. That was the worst night of his night. And even on the worst night of his night, the worst night of his career, he still defeated Tarver. But he took a bad beating in the process, a lot of headshots, and that's when the damage started happening right there to his central nervous system. You know what happened after that, 2 consecutive knockout losses. That's a sign right there that you've really damaged your central nervous system. His body doesn't have the resilience to take a punch anymore. People were fooled because he beat a one-armed Jeff Lacey, and he beat Trinidad, who hadn't fought in over 3 years. So, Roy doesn't have it anymore. And as a fan of Roy Jones, I'm asking him to hang up the gloves. I'd love to see you fight, but I don't want to see you do permanent damage to yourself. I don't want to see you end up like your friend Gerald McClellan. So, please hang up the gloves, and it's time to get into something else.